Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So today I have another Visconti to show you. Now I've had this Visconti in my collection for some time. It's a very large square box. So this is one of several boxes. I think the Homo Sapiens Jade box came in a square as well. And but this is kind of strange. It's a square box, but it's the Chiantishire. And I wanted to pick this pen up because it has another ribbon swirl in the pen. So it's similar to that of the London Fog and Florentine Hills. And it's been a number of years since Visconti did another ribbon swirl pen. So I initially didn't like the look of this. The initial photos of the cap were very bland, but you'll see from this it actually looks a lot better. So let me unbox the box, the outer box, and then you'll see there is this lovely lacquered box. So let me get this out of the way. And I will show you. So this is a lovely lacquered box here, very heavy, and inside you have a lovely hinged box here, very nice. You also have, if I can try and tilt this down, you actually have the Visconti logo in the top there as well. This is a beautiful box. And it comes with a bottle of ink. Now that's not unusual. Some of the Viscontis do come with a bottle of ink. It comes with the newer style plastic bottles, and it doesn't have the outer casing, the plastic casing on the bottle. I guess probably because of the height of the box, it's probably not going to fit in there, because that actually does add quite a bit of height and size to the box. So I had mixed reviews actually, because normally the boxes are rectangular, and I didn't really like having a bottle without any extra protection in, but to be honest, it's not been a problem. So this, you can see here, is the Chiantishire. It comes with a bottle of Visconti red ink. I tend to call this Bordeaux. I think it's Burgundy. They don't actually say, I think, but it's a. And I think even maybe Bordeaux is Burgundy as well. Like I've seen a number of references online to it. I certainly haven't seen a different Visconti red ink. So you get the standard Visconti Italy ID card, and then on the back it says it's a Homo Sapiens Chiantishire. It's a fountain pen, 23 carat Palladium Dream Touch, Palladium plated. It's a double reservoir, power filler, and it's acryloid. You also get your standard Visconti warranty booklet, which normally it says, I believe, if we find the English, that it's got a 2-year warranty. But it says it's actually, they've actually removed the 2-year part on here, and they refer you to their website, so I guess that they can change it. I think Visconti did move down from, I want to think it was 5 years down to 2 years for their warranty a couple of years ago. So I'll show you the bottle of ink. This is just a standard. I love this marble effect that they put on these ink caps. And now this is a plastic bottle. It's very lightweight. A few years back they used to do these in glass. So normally you have a plastic lid that goes over the bottle, and you can actually put that in the lid, and that will stabilize the bottle for when you're filling the pen. So but I will ink this pen up. It's not inked at the moment, so I'll ink it up, and then we'll do a writing sample as well. So that's the bottle there. I do love this, like, squaring the circle or circling the square maybe effect. I know Visconti call it squaring the circle, and I do like the shape of those bottles. So this is the Chiantishire pen, and I mentioned earlier about the cap being bland on the initial photos. So you'll see from here that there's actually sort of some like pearlescence sort of and different sort of textures going on, almost like a marble like pitted effect within the body there of the cap. The bridge clip, standard Visconti bridge clip, spring loaded. You have the My Pen finial, which is magnet, which you can remove, put a gemstone on, or put your initials on. The bridge clip is enameled, backfilled enameled. Now sometimes Visconti do go from enamel to laser etching. I've had the enamel flake off on my Florentine Hills, but that's the only pen I've ever had it flake off of. I think Visconti have got better with the enameling, or certainly how they treat the clip before they enamel it. And then you can see here you have the double reservoir part here, with obviously with a little bit of an ink window. You have the plunger O-ring here, and then you actually have the body here. Now I don't have a huge amount of gold on mine, and to be honest, that's the way I like it. I've seen a number of Chiantishires where pretty much the whole body is like engulfed in red and gold, and you can't see the ink. So I actually like that I can see the ink on this one, to be honest. But it's a very nice gold that has a huge amount of chatoyance there. And then you come down to the end cap, and then you see this like little white squiggle here. And again, it's similar sort of effect to the actual cap itself. So this really is a nice demonstrator pen. And if I zoom in here, you'll see. So this is the Homo Sapiens, and then the LE number there. So 116 of 888. So this is a limited edition, and you can see some of the swirls there right down, and that gold, that is just stunning how that picks up the light. So this is, as I said, it is a limited edition, and so 888, and that's it. So get it whilst you can still. But you can see there in the cap, it's just a huge amount of like marbling going on there. So this is a very nice pen, and I really do like the Chiantishire. I started out liking the body pattern and that, and not the cap so much. But I think when there were a number of things that were changed, like with the cap, it was a plain cap, plain red cap before, and now they've put a marble effect on it, and I think that looks a lot better. And the swirls, they were more lines on the initial promo photos that Visconti put out. So I'm glad it looks more like sort of basically Chiantishire is red wine, or wine from the sort of Florence region of Italy, and so basically the red is supposed to denote sort of wine swirling out of the bottle into a glass type thing, and I think this actually captures it a lot better than the original promo photos that just had lines instead. So I think let's do a size check, a weight, and then we'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample, shall we? So let me get this box out of the way. So let's do a size check. So the pen itself is, the full length is around 147 millimeters in length. The cap is, I'd say, spot on 60 millimeters, and then the body from the nib, if we can try to start rolling, move it up a bit. From the nib, you're looking around about 134 millimeters. So that is an oversized pen. The nib itself, it's a 23 cat palladium nib. I got this in a medium nib. I do tend to gravitate more towards mediums for everyday writing, so I thought that would actually be quite good for me. Now let's do a little bit of a pen comparison check, shall we? So here is a tray of other, these are all Viscontis in my collection. So left to right we have the Visconti Speakeasy, we have the Medici Il Magnifico. This is a marble body with a sterling silver cap and section. We have the Opera Master Crimson Tide, we have the Luxor Obelisk, we have the Chiantishire, we have the Opera Silver Dust, we have the Homo Sapiens London Fog, we have the Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills, we have the Lava Bronze Age version, and we have a Divina Desert Springs. So hopefully that will give you a little bit of a comparison there towards other Viscontis. So I think let's try and ink this pen up, and we'll do a writing sample. So let's do a weight check, shall we? So in terms of weight, we are looking at uninked just over 39 grams. The cap is just over 16 grams, and the pen is just under 21 grams. Now I am going to use the case here. Hopefully I don't get it inky up, but I'm going to use this to sturdy the ink bottle, because I really do not want to knock this ink bottle over. So I'm just going to put a bit of kitchen towel there. Hopefully I won't make a bit of a splash. So okay, I'm just going to pull the piston back, and we'll submerge the pen. Yeah, and we have a pretty good inking. So let's just wipe off the section and the nib. Get a bit more of that ink off the nib here. And I will then show you. Let's put the cap back on the bottle so we don't spill that. So here is the pen inked up, and you can see a little bit the ink here just sloshing around in the body. So I haven't done a full fill on this, I just did a very small fill. It's probably about, I'd say, probably about a third to a half, not quite a half, full. So you can see how it just coats the body there of the pen, and it's actually quite nice. So it actually it's a really nice ink. So let's go and do a writing sample. So I'll move the box out of the way. So this is the Visconti Homo Sapiens Chiantishire, or Chiantishire, depending on how you want to pronounce that. Now this is a medium nib. Now this nib out of the box actually wrote very dry, and I've noticed this with a lot of pens from 2017 from Visconti, where the tines are basically too tight together, and so they will be dry writers. So I have made this one write a little bit more wetter by flossing the tines with a brass shim, because I do like wet nibs, and more so fire hose nibs. So the ink in this is, no surprise, Visconti red. Now I believe it's called Burgundy. So, but to be honest, I'll call it Bordeaux as well. So in terms of line variation, as I said, this is a medium nib. This is with no pressure whatsoever. So you can see the lines there. Now if I start to add a little bit more pressure, this nib you can get some line variation out of. It is a palladium nib. I wouldn't try pushing it too far. I never try to push my pens that far, but as you can see there, you actually do get quite a bit of line variation. It's not a semi-flex nib, it's not a flex nib, but you can, because the nibs tend to be a little bit bouncy or a little bit springy, you can get a little bit of line variation coming out of that. Now, in terms of wetness, let's do this. That's quite a wet nib. Bearing in mind this is an A5 page. So this was nowhere near this wet when it came out of the box. So I did have to modify it. Now, going horizontals, you tend to get less ink coming out. So I kind of would expect that a little bit. But let's try a little bit again. Just to make sure. Yeah. So for me, this is actually not a bad writing pen. Like I could make it a little bit more wetter if I wanted to, but to be honest, for a medium nib, if I'm writing meeting notes or writing in a journal, to be honest, I find that this is a much better writing pen. It's not too dry, it's not overly wet. So from that perspective, I actually do prefer how I tuned that nib. Now, Visconti nibs can become a little bit of a lottery in terms of whether or not they're going to be fire hose wet or dry, and I understand a lot of people don't like that, and they complain about Visconti quality control. Now, the problem is the nibs are made by Bock, and you could have them all coming out writing super wet, and that's how they used to be a few years ago. I think Visconti or Bock changed that certainly around 2017, because all of those nibs that I've had coming out on new pens in 2017 have been very dry writers. So it's just to bear in mind, there are still some pens I have had in 2018 that have been fairly wet writers as well. So you just have to bear that in mind. If that is a concern and you don't want to floss the tines yourself or send it to a nibmeister, make sure you do actually go and try and write with the pen that you're going to buy if you can. Obviously, if you're buying it online, you cannot. But just bear that in mind if you are going to buy a pen. But I think I've only ever had to smooth one Visconti Palladium nib. Outside of that, I have not had any issues. It's just been the wetness, and I prefer my nibs to write fire hose, and that's my personal preference. That's not everybody's personal preference. So it really depends on what your personal preference is. So sometimes you do need to tune a nib to make it write better for you. And that's what I do if I have a nib that's too dry. So that's it really. So this is the review of the Chiantishire. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.